Dr. Moore, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Is it justified, the pause?
Good morning. Yes, sure. Of course it is. This is what we anticipated. These are the kinds of things that we anticipated could happen under this emergency authorization. And naturally, what we want to do is to pause and find out more about what the problems are with a vaccine. And if they're sufficient, then the vaccine won't be given. If they're not, then we will reinitiate vaccination.
So if that's the case, can you take us through that process when you and your colleagues got together to give emergency use authorization to approve this vaccine rollout? When you look at that kind of a move, how much of it was driven by this notion that we should get it out because the risk reward is much better tilted for this vaccine rollout than for holding it back because there could be isolated cases of some of these types of blood clotting issues or anything else that could come down the line?
Well, yeah, I mean, the risk reward is pretty obvious. Can I just frame that for you right now? In where I live in Pittsburgh, there are about 1 million people, so we'd expect one case of this. And if every man, woman, and child in Pittsburgh, and children can't be vaccinated yet because they haven't been studied, but if every man, woman, and child had been vaccinated with the J&J vaccine, we'd expect one case. And yet we've had 1,800 deaths from COVID in our population. So, you know, it's pretty obvious that even under the worst circumstances, as of right now, it looks like it's 1,800 times worse not to vaccinate than to vaccinate. That's what the numbers tell us. However, this halt allows the investigators to go and find out if there are new cases, and there will be. I mean, I'm quite certain that 6 cases is not all the cases that have occurred, and we will probably see other side effects. We want to know what those side effects are, and then people will have a better sense of what the risk is compared to getting COVID.
Doctor, how important is the messaging and communication strategy around this kind of a thing to the overall picture? I'll say this, Doctor. I got vaccinated. I've got my first shot of Moderna. Not that it should matter what brand or make I got, but I got the first shot available to me. I get my second dose next week. I did all of this understanding the risks and the factors that go into it. But there are folks out there who believe as though they don't want to get vaccinated because they don't trust in the safety and efficacy of these types of vaccines being rolled out as quickly as they were. You cannot blame them. I signed a form saying I understand I'm taking a non-FDA approved medicine or vaccine that was approved for emergency use. How exactly do you then convince people, given this kind of a development, that the vaccines are the right course of action to take?
Well, I think that most sensible people, I mean, there are people that you just won't be able to convince that are basically crazy. So, I mean, and there's not much you can do about that. But most sensible people will wonder, you know, can I trust that the people who are in charge are really looking after my health? And I think that this is a very good example of that, where even though everything we know about this episode says that it's better to vaccinate with this vaccine than to not, we still are halting it because we want to be absolutely sure. So that only increases our trust, I would think. That makes me think that the people who are in charge are competent and are looking out for our best interest.
How quickly do you think that we will lift this pause for Johnson & Johnson's vaccine? I mean, how quickly do we think developments will progress to the point where Johnson & Johnson vaccines, those jabs, will be administered once again to kind of participate in this vaccination effort?
Well, we hope really soon. The folks at FDA, and if they're bringing in the CDC, they're very quick and they're very good. But it still takes some time, perhaps a week, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I hope that they can reach a conclusion and have enough information to be able to make a decision within that period of time.
Dr. Moore, is it your opinion that the U.S. vaccination effort is going better than expected right now?
Right now, yes. It started off very, very rough. We'd like to see it go even faster. I mean, the only thing that's going to end this is getting a good, safe vaccine in everyone's arm. And until that happens, we're going to continue to have outbreaks of COVID, and it could potentially get much, much worse. So I think that we're in a much better place than we were when the vaccines were first started to be approved in December.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.